Hey, how's it going, everybody? Pragmatic Addict here. This is the first episode of my series, Pragmatic Addict Gets Real. I had dropped a video yesterday, kind of explaining the series, saying that each episode would be based on something I've always wanted to explain to people, even before being on the platform. Just things that I've dealt with in my life, things I've struggled with, things that I think people should know about me if they really want to know who I am, and just things I don't really talk about too often. And I guess and it just occurred to me a few months back or so, maybe 5 months ago or something. I had dropped a video. It was my first kind of like video that I was away from a movie-based material, and it was like explaining how I feel doing YouTube so far. And I actually said that I kind of see the platform as like therapeutic in a sense. So that's another reason why I want to do these videos. I had talked about doing a second channel, and I was just so wiped out. I wasn't even staying on track with this channel, so how could I fucking do a second channel? But I still want to talk about this stuff nonetheless. I don't just want to be one of those movie reviewers that just reviews movies and every so often uploads a video saying, hey, yeah, this movie sucked, subscribe. I don't like that. I don't want to do that. That's not me. It's not me. It's not my vibe. So I'm going to be talking about in this video and in this first episode of my series, being a filmmaker and doing YouTube with Tourette syndrome. I have Tourette syndrome. I have facial tics. I have muscle spasms. There's times where I like what you just saw literally a second ago. I take breathers a lot. I twitch. There's sometimes where I have to swallow. There's sometimes where I have to blink. There's a lot going on in my body that makes it hard for me to do things. Not just doing YouTube, because every time I have a tic, I have to trim it out. I have to edit that out, and I have to make sure that whatever I said or did before that will hopefully connect to what I'm saying afterward. That's why there's a lot of times in my videos you'll see some choppy editing, or you'll see as it cuts to another scene of the video, you'll hear some like reverb in the back. You'll hear some noise, some quick like eat ooh, eat before I cut to the next scene. That's what that is. That is me trying to trim out these tics and these Tourette's that I have. So really quickly, the first time I started noticing I had Tourette's was 11 years old. It started off as something that maybe I thought was a habit, that for many years, eventually, people just thought it was a habit. And I'm like, I don't think habits go on for 15 years. And not only that, but get fucking worse to the point where you can't even fucking sleep. It's a long story, but the first time I actually noticed I had Tourette's was in 6th grade, the beginning of middle school. I was 11 years old, and it started with just biting down on my jaw a little bit, making like little clack noises, kind of like the kid from Hereditary, but not as annoying. But it was just me chomping down a little bit, essentially. And then it started to going on to twitching, and obviously I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know how to talk about it, and I got bullied for it a lot. And I started doing it at home, and like my mom and my sister would be like, like why are you doing that all of a sudden? They didn't understand like I did. And I'm just like, I don't know. And they're like, well, can you stop? Because I'd be doing it all day long. I'd be doing it when we were watching a movie, when we were having dinner. It was repetitive, and we all just thought well, eventually it'll go away, whatever. It didn't. I started developing more and started doing it more often. It started getting more worse and worse and worse. Fast forward to 15 whatever years number that is, it's getting to the point now where I can't even sleep. I'll lay down and try and go to sleep, and I've started developing it in my shoulders. It's in my face, it's in my eyes, it's in my nose. Sometimes I'll have to sniffle, or I'll have to blink, or I'll have to twitch or something. It's not the hair. It's not the long hair. The hair's out of my eyes. But it's to the point where I can't even sleep sometimes. And I know this is kind of going, a little off track of what this video is supposed to be about. I was just kind of giving you guys a little bit of a rundown of what has led to this. So yes, I'm a filmmaker, and I do YouTube. I write, direct, and act in movies. So a lot of times people ask me, how do you do movies? How do you direct and act with Tourette syndrome? Now, the thing with Tourette's that a lot of people don't understand is that there are triggers for them. There's a lot of stereotypes where people are just like, fuck! And it's not always how it is. Besides Tourette's, I also have ADD, ADHD, and insomnia. I got the whole package. So, I'm always drinking Mountain Dew because I was told from a very young age that apparently Mountain Dew has like a reverse side effect on ADHD, but that was before I actually had developed Tourette's. So yeah, I'm kind of an addict, when it comes to Mountain Dew. And that fucking wires up the fucking Tourette's like crazy. Obviously makes it hard for me to sleep too. And, even not having Mountain Dew, I still have insomnia. And I think that is partially because even when I'm dead tired, even when I have, no energy, if I lay down, I'm like flapping wings in that bed, bro. I just cannot sleep for the life of me. And this is something really interesting is when I'm writing, when I'm acting, when I'm directing, as stressful as that sounds, there's no pressure, okay? I have a good crew that I've known for years. I have a good crew that I've worked with for years. I mean, given I've only made one short film, but I've known these people for a long time. I don't have to worry about being myself around them. I don't have to worry about, taking breaks, if I have Tourette's. But the thing is when I'm on set, I don't really have Tourette's. And I think that is because there is no pressure. And not only that, but I'm actually involved and actually distracted on something that I know that I'm good at. Know where I belong and know where, I stand and I'm comfortable with that. I'm literally in the best of my element. The difference between filmmaking, doing movies and doing YouTube is I don't have a calling for YouTube. I'm passionate about it. I want to do it. I want to give it my all. And there's so many times where I'm like, is this for me? I don't know if I'm feeling this. I take hiatuses, I get burnt out. For like the first half of the time I've been on YouTube, I wasn't even being myself because I didn't know how to be on YouTube. I just wanted to talk about movies and wanted to make sure that I did good at it. So there was a lot of pressure. When I'm doing movies, I'm writing my own scripts that I want to write. I'm writing characters that I know I want to play and I want other people to play. I'm creating an atmosphere and an environment and a setting and a life in a world that I know I built from scratch and I can make it however I want it. YouTube, I just don't want to fucking get disliked. I don't want, my views to be embarrassing. I don't want my dislikes to be embarrassing. I don't want my quality of the video to be embarrassing compared to somebody higher up. And it's funny that I mentioned that because I'm actually going to be talking about this in my second episode of this series, which will be don't try to be perfect on YouTube. At least starting out as a small YouTuber from what I've experienced. But going back to it, on YouTube there's a lot of pressure. I'm literally looking at myself. I can see what I'm doing. Whenever I make a take, I'm worried, is this going to make it out of it? Am I going to be able to trim this out? Will I be able to go back to what I was saying because of the insecurity and the fear and the, anxiety? I've always wanted to tell people about my Tourette's, but I've always been embarrassed to. Around this, I'm talking to a bunch of strangers. And millions of people could see this video, some people who don't even know me, some people who do, and you're finally getting to know the full picture of me. And some people who maybe have Tourette's. It's just like, I can literally talk about it, delete it if I want to, edit it if I want to, which I'm not going to because it's hard for me to talk about this. Bottom line is, if I'm going to talk about me having Tourette's, it's got to be an environment where I'm alone, where I'm comfortable, where I can do it at my own pace, where I won't have to worry about being judged. Once this video's up there, it's up to you guys to, feel how you do about me. But I said even before I came up with this idea of this, second channel of the series, that I wanted to be different than other movie reviewers. I wanted people to know who I genuinely am. I don't just want to go up there and talk about movies, but the problem is how can I talk about me having Tourette's and my other struggles with life if I'm just only supposed to be talking about movies? So yeah, that was the whole point of me making a second channel, and then I realized I can't manage that right now. I don't have the brain capacity for it. I don't have the time. So yeah, it kind of shut me down, and I was getting to a hiatus where I'm just like, well, if I don't have a movie I want to watch within 2 weeks, which is pretty damn near impossible, then I how am I going to be able to talk about this? Because I was passionate about talking about myself, because it was something I tried to do for pretty much all my life, and I never knew how to. I was always embarrassed or felt like I was going to get my facts wrong. Maybe I'm just in over my head, but I had to do it at some point. And I felt like the only way to do that is if I had a separate channel. And then one day it was just like, this is my channel. Sure, it's a movie channel, but this is my channel. I judge myself a lot on YouTube as a, entertainer, as a reviewer. And I'm not going to go far into this because I'm going to save this for another video. But really quickly, I have a lot of insecurity being on YouTube. But I want to, see how I can do with it. And not only that, but I see myself actually being successful on here if I can just, nail that, not even niche, but, or persona, necessarily, but if I can just get comfortable with it. And I realize that if I'm going to be somebody that, I know I want to be, and if I'm going to be myself, then people are going to be watching these reviews, not even for the movies sometimes, but for me, they're going to want to know who I am. And yeah, I feel like I have a story to tell. So yeah, being a filmmaker, it's not so hard, with Tourette's, because that's not really a trigger for me. That doesn't put pressure on me. But so really quickly, I released my first film and short film, Relapse, 2 years ago, July 2019. It got a select theatrical release. The premiere for it downtown in the city I live in, Tucson. It had a theatrical release, and there was a Q&A afterward, and people, was signing posters and shit. It was a really cool deal. It was like I was living the dream. Like, whoa. I mean, 20 people showed up, and I made it a free showing, but I got to experience that, and it made me feel like, yeah, I can fucking do this. Though during the Q&A, I look back now and I realize that's a lot of pressure. It was my first movie. I don't know what the fuck people thought of it. I didn't know anything about filmmaking. A bunch of strangers, saw this movie in theaters in the same building with me for the first time, and, had questions for it. But I didn't feel any pressure because I knew that I gave it my all. I knew that, I had time to prep for this and plan this out, and this is where I wanted to be in life. So it didn't pressure me, really. And I don't have stage fright or anything, but again, there's just something about YouTube, something about, I think what it is just seeing me. Being in a room of silence and only hearing me talk. And, even if the tics aren't noticeable to some other people, which, I've been told, living with them for almost, 15, 20 years, even the smallest one makes me paranoid, like, is that gonna, boost the audio? Is that gonna get in there? When I make a tic, does my face look like fucking, like Mr. Potato Head when he was Tortilla, in the Toy Story 3? Basically, I have a lot of insecurity about this. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm embarrassed. I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how people feel about it, and I don't know what people's thoughts on, Tourette's, genuinely, like, just period, are. Again, there's a lot of stereotypes for it and everything, and for the people that don't know, they actually start in childhood. There is no cure for them, but there's also no cause, no pinpoint cause for them. People don't know, what causes them, but there are triggers for them. And as close to causes, there are triggers that, make them worse or whatever. And there are treatment for them, things that, exercises that you can do to make them not bad. Mine, from what I've read, get exercise. I mean, I don't really have a problem with exercise. I'm not really against it, but I'm not really dedicated to it. I could do it, whatever. The other one, don't, have a lot of sugar. I have Mountain Dew like crazy because my ADHD needs to shut the fuck down sometimes. Get sleep. I have insomnia, so I feel like my Tourette's could be a little bit more tolerable and a little bit better for me to communicate with and, control and be comfortable with if I could just kind of get some certain things in order. But, the point, the biggest point, and I feel like the video is going to end soon, but before I go, I need to say this. the biggest point for me making this video is because this is the biggest trigger for my Tourette's. Being on YouTube. And I know people are like, well, why are you on fucking YouTube? Because I like to talk movies and I like to engage with people, which, you know, I don't really like people, but I want to have communication, especially during the fucking pandemic. That's just a bonus. But I want to communicate with people, and if I'm gonna communicate with people, I want it to be genuine. I like to talk about movies. I want to see where I can go with that. You know, I'm not... You know, again, I don't have a calling for YouTube, but I'm passionate about it. And I've grown really cool with it. I've gotten a good relationship with it, and I want to see how far I can go for years. I don't want to ever stop doing this. But in saying that, I need to get comfortable with it still. And I can tell you, from anybody who looks at my videos, when I was doing reviews every single week, I had a schedule. I was like, you know, I'm gonna do reviews every single week. At least one video. And you can see, you know, when I'm, you know, obviously, you know, when I'm watching the movie, you can see, you can tell that I was taking notes. You know, I was writing a script, and, you know, when I would do reviews, I would just, hi guys, welcome back to my channel, so blah blah blah, and I just start talking about the movie, and at the end I'd just be like, okay, bye. And I didn't like that. I don't want YouTube to ever feel like a job where I actually have to, you know, manage myself. You know, you can do whatever the fuck you want with YouTube. I can fucking come up here with percussions and be like, subscribe, and end the video. Like, there's no limits, and you don't have to be professional on here. That's why I took up YouTube, because it was therapeutic. Because I could actually try whatever the fuck I wanted with it. But I didn't realize all the pressure that was going to be there. So that is the biggest thing for me doing this video, is because I'm going to try and break this pressure. I'm going to be myself, you know, with reviews. With this, I'm going to give you guys, you know, videos where I'm just talking about me. You know, for example, tomorrow's the 12th. We got Saint Maud, and we got Willy's Wonderland reviews coming, and also Judas and the Black Messiah comes out. Fucking whoa! It's going to be a busy month. What I said in my last video is that I had like my first 4, maybe even 5 episodes figured out, and I do. I have my first 5 figured out. I don't know when they're going to come out. I don't know. You know, I'm not going to make it a schedule. It's just kind of like, whenever I'm ready to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it, and I'll post it, and you guys will see. Obviously, you know, I don't, you know, think it's going to be like, you know, months go by before the next episode. No, I want this to be fresh. I want there to be enough gap and enough distance in between where, you know, you guys are still amped for this, you know, series and want to see the next episode. But, yeah, that is personally my point of making this video, is pressure. I don't know how well I'm doing with my Tourette's in this video compared to, you know, other videos I've done, but the difference is that I'm able to take breaks better. I am not good with taking breaks in any way. Not when I'm shooting a video, not when I'm talking, not when I'm working, not with my life. I'm not good with breaks, but I can see just talking about this, how real it really is to me and how important it generally is to me. How in control I am. You know, not managing, but in control. Functioning. You know, I don't feel like a robot. I don't feel like I'm working. I don't feel like I'm reading off a script, or, again, you know, like I'm working. I'm talking. And I'm talking about something that I don't really want to talk about, but I know I should. And I know I have to at some point. And if I'm going to, I don't want it to be, you know, with a bunch of people around me. But in saying that, I want it to be, you know, in a way where anybody can see it anytime and hear it. So, yes, making movies with Tourette's, for me, it's honestly probably the best medicine for my Tourette's. Again, I feel really in my zone, in my element. I feel very comfortable. I feel like myself. I'm literally contributing the best part out of my life, in my vision, in my language, in my dialogue, in my atmosphere. And Tourette's are, you know, a lot of times from a trigger. But when I'm doing YouTube, they're there. They're there all the time. And I feel like that's why I did a lot of hiatuses. I feel like that's why I struggle so much trying to get my, you know, personality on board and trying to get the quality as best as I can, because, you know, there was a time where you know, when I do reviews, a lot of videos, you know, before I'd be like, hey, you know, disclaimer, I have Tourette's, on with the video. But I just realized how much work that is when I could just make a video just talking about it full throttle. You know, because there's going to be some videos where I don't do that, where I don't have to give the disclaimer. But what if that's the first video that a stranger stumbles on? They're like, what's he doing? Does he got COVID? His boy got COVID. And I guess I just wanted this to be as processable. Is that even a fucking word? I want this to be as easy to process for me as it is for other people as possible. So guys, thank you for watching the video. I wasn't making this, to be a beginning, a middle, and an end kind of video. Just, me just talking. I was ready to talk about it. I feel like I got enough out. There will probably be more that I release, maybe later on in other videos. But this is the general gist. Yes, I have Tourette's. This is what I go through. This is how I feel, and this is the struggles that come with it. But I feel like this is the first step to actually, I guess, being okay with them. Again, not necessarily not being ashamed or not embarrassed of them, but or even accepting them, just being okay with them. This is the biggest pressure, and I feel like after this video, I feel like I'll have a better grip. I'm not going to say, my Tourette's are going to go away. They never will, but maybe I will be able to have more life on YouTube. Not that I think that any of my videos are bad. I think that my recent ones are actually really fucking good. I like them. I'm proud of them. And that's fucking awesome for me to feel, because I overthink and I have a lot of anxiety and doubt and blah. It's a mess up here sometimes when I'm doing YouTube, but I feel like this is the first video where I'm actually figuring it out. I've recently done, in my recent reviews, I feel like I've been more myself. I haven't had a script. If I want to watch a video or a movie, I will. And if I want to shoot a video on it, I will. And saying that, I don't have a schedule for it, but I don't ever let it go to a point where it's like, it's been a month. Is this dude dead? I accept that that I need a break. I accept that I'm still learning. I accept that I'm still new on here. And with Tourette's as well, I don't want to ever deal with that pressure. And it gets to the point where again, like you guys have seen a few times already, I fucking leave. And I don't want to do that anymore. So this is my story with Tourette's, guys. I don't know how, engaging it was, how, in-depth it was, but this is what I'm comfortable saying. So I'm going to end the video right here, and my second episode will be being perfect on YouTube, or don't be perfect on YouTube. Basically me talking about my experience all the way from, when I created the channel up till, today, what I've learned, what I've been through, what I've thought, how I've, grown, and how I feel, and maybe tips and advice, a lot of stuff. I'm actually really excited about it, but that will be my next video. And tomorrow, obviously, Saint Maud and Willy's Wonderland and Judas and the Black Messiah comes out. I don't know how many of the movies I'm going to review, but it's going to be a busy month. So I will be seeing you guys very shortly either way. And, the next episode, you can expect it relatively soon. I'm really proud of myself for doing this, and I really appreciate all your guys' patience and support and time that you've given me throughout this video, throughout this channel. I appreciate all of it. So thank you guys very much, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.